Hello friends, you're watching English with D, the channel with no jargon, only useful information. After watching our earlier videos on reading module, we got a lot of requests to make a video on how to do information finding questions. And as usual, we have listened to the request of our students and have prepared this video which will teach you how to attempt information finding questions. So, before we begin, if you are a new viewer, then subscribe to our channel so that you do not miss out on any important lessons on Ielts that we publish. Let's get started then. First, you need to remember some key rules for solving this type of questions. First rule is that if the question statement contains the following phrases: a reference to someone, a reference to a person, a reference to a person's theory or belief or opinion, then the answer paragraph must have a person's name in it. Second rule is, if the question statement contains the following words or phrases: ratio, statistics, cost, data, proportion, or number of, then the answer paragraph must have a numerical value, which means some sort of number. Third rule is, if the question statement contains the following phrase, an example of, then the answer paragraph generally contains some kind of activity or process or comparison. Now, we will follow the steps to solve this type of question. First step is to quickly read all the statement and highlight the keywords. Keywords include someone's name or a place, that is noun, some kind of activity or process, that is verb, some kind of quality or comparison, that is adjective. Here, a special mention has to be made about your memory. Please practice in such a manner that after reading the statements quickly and highlighting the keywords, you remember those keywords at least for a short while. This is called retention technique, which you must practice. You will understand the importance of this technique in the later part of the video. Now listen very carefully. After executing step number 1, do not start directly looking for statements. Always start reading from the first paragraph, that is paragraph A. Next step includes what and how to read in paragraph. For this, keep a general rule in mind. If the paragraph is short, that is 4 to 5 lines only, then read the entire paragraph. And if the paragraph is long, that is more than 5 lines, then read 2 lines from the top, 1 line in the middle, and 2 lines from the bottom. There is one exception to this general rule, and that is the lines containing numbers. Never skip these lines because generally lines with numbers have important information, and if those lines are not useful for information finding type questions, then there is a high chance that these lines will help in other questions. Now, let's have a look at the example that we are going to solve today. In the example, there are 7 information statements and we have to find the paragraphs in which each information is presented in the passage. Now we will look at each statement individually and try to understand what keywords to look for in each statement. Let's have a look at the first statement. In this statement, the keywords are system, which presents a process or a noun, neutralizing, which is an activity, a verb, harmful features, which is a negative quality, hence an adjective, and finally modern diet, again a noun. Now we will try to understand in detail what these keywords represents and what we have to look for in the paragraph. First keyword is system, so we would first look for some kind of process in the paragraph that represents a system. The next keyword is neutralizing. Neutralizing means to remove the effects of something. Hence, combining the first two keywords, we have to look for a system that removes the effects. The next keyword is harmful features. So combining the first three keywords, we have to look for a system that removes harmful features or negative effects of something, and that something is our last keyword, the modern diet or the food people prefer to eat today. Please go through this part again to understand that what type of keywords we have highlighted and how we have related those keywords to understand that what we need to look for in a paragraph. Now let's move to the next statement. In this statement, the keywords are suggestion, why, mankind, and prospered. So, combining first two keywords, suggestion and why, we have to look for a cause and effect relation or a reason in the paragraph. The next keyword, mankind, suggests that the paragraph talks about humans. And the last keyword, prospered, means to be successful or be better than someone else. Hence, combining all the keywords, we have to find the paragraph in which it is mentioned that humans have done well for some reason. In the third statement, the keywords are example of, happens if, balanced, plant-based diet, and abundant. Remember, in the beginning we mentioned that if statement contains the phrase example of, then we have to look for a paragraph in which some process or activity is mentioned. Now, happens if is cause and effect phrase, so first two keywords suggest that there is an activity and its effect. The next two keywords will tell us what that activity is. Obviously, this activity involves plant-based diet or vegetarian diet, and the activity is to leave that diet, which comes from the word abandoned, which means to leave someone or something. Now, look at the fourth statement. The keywords are chronological, different types of diet, and mankind. Now remember, whenever this word chronological is mentioned, then it means that there is a timeline or an activity that has happened over different number of years, because chronology means things happening in an order of time. So combining all the keywords, we know that the paragraph must mention the diet which humans had at different times of years. Since diets do not change within short span of time, so the timeline mentioned here should be dealing with long gaps, something like decades or even centuries. In the next statement, the keywords are very obvious and give a clear message what we have to find in a paragraph, and that is things or objects or something that can harm humans today, which comes from the word now. The next statement is the classic example of information finding statement related to person. Remember our key rules in the beginning? Since the phrase reference to one person is mentioned in the statement, hence we have to look for some person's name in the paragraph. Next thing is person's theory, which means that in the paragraph there should be words like according to, things or beliefs, because the statement is talking about a person's theory or belief. Now, what the belief is related to? It is related to the reasons or causes behind the illnesses that are common today among humans. Let's go through the last statement. The keywords here are varied, which means variety or different types of; intake, which means something you eat; and early humans. So combining these keywords, we know that the paragraph must talk about the different types of foods that early humans ate. Now remember, early humans is always referred to the humans which existed thousands of years ago. For example, humans living in the Stone Age. So now we have figured out that to locate the right paragraph, what we have to look for in each statement. And remember what we said in the beginning, that you have to remember some of the keywords, if not all, so that you can recognize the right paragraph immediately, which we called the retention technique. And also remember that the next step after highlighting the keywords is to start reading from the paragraph A. Let's look at the paragraph A and see whether it contains information related to any of the statements or not. Since it is a long paragraph, hence we will read 2 lines at the top, 1 in the middle and 2 at the bottom. We have highlighted these lines for you. Now let's see if these lines contain any of the information above or not. Clearly, the first 2 lines are talking about diseases that are harmful for humans. The middle line contains the words today and top killers. So combining lines at the top and the middle, we know that the paragraph is talking about diseases that are harmful for humans in the present day or now. This information matches with the statement number 5. Now, notice that the last 2 lines are talking about economic and technical progress, which is not mentioned in any of the statements. Hence, we can ignore these lines. Now listen very carefully in the long paragraphs where you have to read 3 sections of the paragraph, top, middle and bottom. If 2 sections are talking about the same thing or are related to each other and the third section is not related to the other 2 sections, then you can ignore the third section, which we have done here. Now, moving to the next paragraph. It is a short paragraph, so you must read the entire paragraph. Clearly, from the words highlighted, we can figure out that a comparison is made here between humans and other species, and the word successfully means that humans are doing better than other species, which, remember, we figured out in our statement number 2 from the word prospered. Hence, B should be the answer for second statement. Look at the beginning of the paragraph C. It contains the phrase according to physician Boyd. Now, we mentioned to look for such phrases for statements that contains phrases like reference to a person and so on. Now this part matches with the first half of statement 6. But another keywords which are cause of and today's illnesses are not mentioned in this paragraph. There is no mention of any type of disease in this paragraph. Hence, it cannot be the answer for statement 6. And notice further that the information contained in this paragraph matches with none of the statements. Hence, we would not write C as answer for any of the statements. Moving to paragraph D, we know that we said in long paragraphs you should read 2 lines from the bottom as well. But we also said that never skip the lines that contains numbers. This is the reason that we have highlighted the first 5 lines, because these contain important numbers. Now looking carefully at these lines, we can see that it talks about humans of different generations starting from 10,000 years ago to the present generation and their diet at each timeline. Remember the word timeline, which we use for statement number 4. Hence, D should be the answer for statement number 4. Now, paragraph E is again a long paragraph. Hence, we have highlighted 2 lines at top, 1 in the middle and 2 at bottom. The top line talks about prehistoric humans or cavemen, which are synonyms of our keywords early humans in statement number 7. Now, to make sure that paragraph E is our answer, we will look other highlighted keywords which are varied intake, which means a variety in the diet which is mentioned in the middle part of the paragraph. So, we are sure that this paragraph is the answer for statement number 7. Again, the bottom line talks about Western people, which is not mentioned in any of the statement, hence we can ignore it. In paragraph F, the top 2 lines talk about early humans as well, but it does not talk about variety in diet, hence it cannot be the answer for statement number 7. Rather, it talks about fiber-based diet, which is a vegetarian diet. In the middle part of the paragraph, it is mentioned that gorillas are fed on low-fiber diets containing meat and eggs, which means they are not given enough vegetarian or plant-based diet, and then its effects are mentioned. They suffer from many common human disorders. All these keywords are related to only one statement, and that is statement number 3. Also notice that the statement contains the phrase "an example of", and we mentioned in the beginning that if this phrase is mentioned, then the answer paragraph generally contains some kind of process or activity, and in this paragraph the activity is to experiment with low plant-based diets on gorillas. Paragraph G is again a long paragraph, hence we have highlighted 2 lines at the top, 1 in the middle and 2 at the bottom. Note, the starting of the paragraph mentions agricultural societies, and societies can also be referred as systems. In the middle part, note the words countering and the negative effects. Countering is the synonym for neutralizing, and negative effects are used for harmful features. So, combining top and middle lines, we can easily say that paragraph G is the answer for statement number 1. Now, coming to the bottom 2 lines, the phrase "according to Timothy Jones" suggests that it could be the answer for statement number 6. But we have to make sure, because remember in paragraph C as well we had such phrase, but we ruled out C as answer because it did not mention the keywords in the second part of the statement, which are cause of and today's illnesses. But here we can easily locate the synonyms for these 2 keywords. For cause, the synonym used is create. For today, the suggestive word is industrial countries, and for illnesses, we have health problems. Therefore, we can confidently say that paragraph G is answer for statement number 6 as well. Now, this is how our answers look like, and all our answers are correct. Guys, I know for the first time it seems a bit tough, but remember, practice makes a man perfect. So, go to our website and practice this technique on at least 15 to 20 tests, and you will never face problem again in information finding questions. Needless to say, new viewers, subscribe to our channel and like and share this video as much as possible so that